Good. Oh, hello. I've done it again. I'm not there. Where am I? Yeah. Bear with me. It always helps if you turn your camera on. How? I don't remember turning this one off. Oh, no, here we go. Hey! Good evening, people. And welcome to
Off the Plasterer
with me, Eric the Plasterer. What's this? Is it Monday? I hear you ask. No. What's he doing? What's he doing here on a... Oh, what day is it? Thursday? Oh, it's nearly the weekend. Yay! Oh dear. Yeah. I'm here this evening because if you tuned in to Ask the Plasterer Monday just gone, it was going great for about half an hour, and then the internet let me down. And I hope it's not going to let me down again tonight. Probably going to do a shorter session this evening, see how it goes. If we're not busy at all, then 5 minutes. If we are busy, up to an hour, but not doing the old hour and a half this evening, unless it went crazy for some strange reason, but I doubt that very much. yeah, we're already well into March, well, quite into March, and the spring and the summer's like whizzing up fast. We are going to pop across in a minute now to the old Auckland Trail, and we'll have a chat in there. Hello. Yes, it's Ask the Plasterer coming out on a Thursday. It's a one-off at the moment because Monday went a bit Pete Tong. Right, hang on. I'm gonna just pop over to the pub, and hopefully my camera's on over there. Hey! Welcome to the old Auckland Trail Community Boozer with me, Eric the Plasterer. This, for you that don't know, is... Oh, what is it?
Ask the Plasterer.
That's it, you're a bit slow there, kid. Ask the Plasterer with me, Eric the Plasterer. I've been a plasterer in South London for the last 38 years, and not a lot I don't know about plastering, and what I don't know I learned from Kirk. So, yeah, welcome along. You can call in or on the number that's above there, or you can type in on the old display. Hey, Mark, and have a chat. Ask any questions you like, whether you're a time served spread, whether you are a DIYer, someone new to the game, someone thinking about getting into the game of spreading. Yeah, welcome along. That's what tonight is about. So, as I said, we normally go out every other Monday from 7 o'clock to about 8:30. But Monday went a little bit awry. The old internet let me down after about half an hour, and it all went wrong, and everybody went home. So I said I might try and get on tonight, and just about managed it. So I've got my dinner all cooked already, so that'll be waiting for me for when I'm done. But yeah, it's one thing I can't normally say on a Monday is hey, it's nearly the weekend. So right. I hope you can still put your feet up. Get yourself a drink. I've become quite partial to the old Brewdog IPA, which I'm normally just sort of a lager drinker, but this is the only kind of real ale I quite like. With one of those this evening. I'm assuming everyone can hear me okay. Hello, Silver. Thursday night special, mate. That's right. Oh, someone's ringing. Hang on. Hello.
Eric.
Hang on, let's just turn you up a bit, mate. Right, keep talking. Who's that?
It's John.
Hello, John. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Nice to hear from you. Yeah, mate. I've got this cough, cold thing that's been going around.
Yeah, I've had exactly the same thing.
You had it. It's a funny old thing. My missus had it for weeks and weeks. She was coughing. Other than that, she built.
On Monday, you were saying about your wife had it.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a bit of a snort.
We had all these technical difficulties.
Oh, I know, mate. Well, that's the only reason I'm doing tonight, because it went all up the Swanee, and it was going really well as well up until that point. And then I thought, I'll give it a go on Thursday. Why not? I've got nothing to lose, and I'm not out on the town, mate, or anything like that. So why not?
Are you busy?
I was busy, and I was saying to the guys on my forum today that I went to look at a job. I don't think I mentioned it on Monday. I went to look at a job that came in. I've just done a quite big one, so I've got some money in the bank. Feel great. and
That's nice.
and they come and they said, "Oh, I've got all stairs and landing, 3 bedrooms. We want some quotes." So and it's only around the corner from me, mate, as well. So I've shot round there.
That's even better.
I've shot round there and looked at it all, and she said, "Well, we're having a loft conversion, and so I'm a bit worried that if you do like the bedrooms, whether there'll be any damage with the loft conversion going on." And I said, "Well, you know, you can get maybe a little bit of cracking, but
Yeah, a little bit.
I said, well, there's nothing that a bit of filler or something won't cure, so that's not really an issue." And but saying that, she said, "Well, if we don't, we'll probably want to get the loft done, and then get you around to do, you know, all the plastering, all stairs landing, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And then she, I said, "Well, when do you want?" I thought she was going to say in the summer or the spring. In the summer, it's getting it done. When's your loft conversion? She went September. I went, oh, right, okay. But you know, but I sent their quotes off, and I did sort of say to them, you'd be better off getting your bedrooms out of the way during the spring and summer months, which is true.
Yeah.
While the weather's nice, because you're going to have rads off the wall. They've got a couple of little twin kids as well, daughters. I can't remember how old they are, about 5 or something like that, 5 or 6. And I thought, rather than have your whole house in upheaval from September onwards, and then trying to get your bedroom, drill stairs and landing done and a loft conversion all at the same time with the winter kicking in, isn't that great? So,
That's it.
so there you go, mate.
Oh, good.
Evening, Jamie. Sorry. Yeah, come on.
I'm nice and busy, but what I phoned up for,
Yes, mate.
I've just got I've got a job over in Bromley,
Yeah.
and it's a total reskin. Clients stripped all the walls.
Yeah.
Well, they say they strip the walls, don't they?
You don't know till you get there, mate, do you? Really?
Yeah, no, that's it. And but what it is, where they've taken the paper off,
Yeah.
a lot of the old plaster's blown. It's gone back to the sand and cement.
Right.
So I've gave it 3 good. You know, I've done all the lids.
Right.
3 good coats of PVA.
Yeah.
On the lids. The walls. I hit a few of the walls today, but
Yeah.
I've never known like suction so much, Eric.
So what have you done? Have you PVA'd them?
I gave the walls 3 coats as well. I gave them like 2 coats yesterday, and I gave them another coat this morning.
Watered down or fairly neat?
Slightly watered down.
Yeah.
Just so it's, you know, it's
Just so it goes on a bit
3
easier. Yeah.
Really good coats.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, I just can't control the suction on them.
So were they pulling in while you were doing them, or were you getting crazy?
Literally, like first coat on,
Yeah.
straight over with a skin, with a
Yeah.
speed skin, and mix up again and straight on again with the second.
Oh, you didn't put no retarders or nothing in it?
No, nothing at all.
Yeah.
I've never known walls like this, Eric.
Well, Kirk reckons like he swears blind by SBR for killing suction. I mean, because I never hardly use the stuff.
No, I don't.
So I don't, you know, only because it's more expensive than PVA.
It's like 26
Yeah.
for 5 litres.
And he says like he brushes it on, lets it go.
Yeah.
Do you let it go right off, mate, or are you doing it
I
tacky?
do, yeah.
Yeah, same here. Because I only have issues if I leave my PVA tacky rather than letting it go right off.
That's right.
I've had some like where you're getting still some pulling on the suction with it, just using the PVA. But I'll be using SBR, mate. So anything I think they're doing. Or
I've never known walls like this pulling so much. And also, because some of the walls, some of the areas have blown.
Yeah.
So obviously, you scrape back. Then when you put the heavy PVA on it, it pulls like the old finish off as well.
So was the original walls you're going over? They old lime plaster or cement?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, they're sand cement background, and I think it must have been like the old certified they used then.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know why. I mean, obviously you can get it pulling in like quicker than you're expecting.
Yeah.
On the PVA, but not normally something like that.
I just have a 2 coats of good PVA, and that always does it for me. But I thought I'm going to go belt and braces here.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Well,
I'm pulling my hair out over it.
all I can think of doing, mate, is splashing out and trying a bit of SBR.
Yeah.
If you're gonna,
what would you
don't want
coats on that, do you reckon?
I think Kirk recommends he just sticks one good one on and lets it dry. You don't do it when it's wet.
No.
But it's meant to go off it's meant to dry fairly quickly, 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
So although I would normally, if I was having an issue in a place and I was going back to do more walls, mate, then I'd definitely buy at least a gallon of it and try it out on those and see if it does the trick. It might convert you to using it all the time if it works well.
So I only ever use SBR with render.
Yeah, I mean, do you normally go? You skim up not too thick when you're doing this one?
Not too thick at all.
Yeah. I mean, retarder in it might help, mate, because I've noticed when I use extra time in my finish, that when I do knock it, when it is starting to pull, like go off in the bucket, if I water it down again with that stuff is already in it, I don't add any more to it. It stays wetter and workable a lot longer than it does when I re-wet it down again with no additives in it.
Really?
Yeah, so I find apart from the fact that it gives me more time to get that second coat on, because I do a lot of my second coating with a watered down first coat. And that works a treat for that, and hopefully, mate, that might also help on the old when it comes to it pulling in. But definitely worth a try with the SBR, mate. It's giving you grief rather than
any of the other lads on the forum, on the chat tonight, if they could come up with any other suggestions.
Yeah. Oh well, Mark's put up on the screen here. We used SBR on a skim yesterday, and it wouldn't dry. Reverted back to PVA.
Really?
But, yeah.
See, that's the other thing. I'm wondering whether this, because it has been cold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether that could have a little bit of a.
Whereabouts? Oh yeah, you said it was Bromley. Yeah, because it was a bit cold this morning, but I think it warmed up quite a bit today, and this is just my temperature. My temperature making me feel hot.
Yeah.
Compared to yesterday, it was bloody freezing, and today I popped out in the garden and I thought, hey, weather's warmed up. Not sunbathing weather, but.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I wouldn't have thought that would affect it, mate. Unless the place is it empty? This place and no.
The place is empty. There's no heating on in there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other little worrying thing. And when you're skimming out the rooms, they're like a couple of the rooms are just absolutely still soaking.
Yeah.
Where I've skimmed, I open the windows during the daytime, get a bit of airflow going through.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. Trying a bit of SBR, mate. That's all I can think of. Or making sure if you're doing a couple of coats of PVA that your second one is definitely dry, because it's because it's water soluble. If you have got one good one on there that's gone, and you put another one on, apparently I don't know the science of it, being water based, that the second one can make the first coat soften up again of PVA. Right. Which might not be helping. As I say, I water it down enough that it's not really gloopy.
Just so you can apply it.
Just so it's comfortable to apply, and I'm not putting it on like bloody treacle. Just to get it more, not splishy wet. I don't water it. Don't do the 4-to-1 and all that malarkey. I get a good coat of it on, as neat as I can keep it, but it goes on nice. And then just let that go so you can touch it and it's dry, and then hit that. As I say, if there's I don't know what's causing such.
Yeah, maybe as I say, I'll use that in some extra time as well.
It'd be worth a try, mate. And of course, I suppose don't hit any area that's too big. if it is doing that to you, because then you're rushing around like a blue-ass fly, and you're trying to save it. Which is horrible, mate. I've been there, and it can cause that. Once you have done it and it looks okay, you can get some of that crazing that shows through. That you can't feel it. It's rock hard. And it ain't going to come off, and it paints over so you can't see it. But of course, the customer, if you don't tell the customer if that happens, they see it, they just think, oh, it's all, all the wall's cracking up, mate. And if that does happen, I always say, look, come here a second. This ain't a cause for concern. Give it a good old punch and say, look, you can't feel this. It'll paint over, and there's nothing to worry about. It's just to do where the first coat was drying a little bit too quick, and the subsequent quotes have helped like seal it all in and set it.
Lovely.
So, but yeah, let us know how you get on with that, mate.
I will do, Eric. Thank you ever so much.
No worries, mate. Good luck with that.
I'll enjoy the show tonight.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, makes a change. Set it Thursday, why not? Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks for bringing it in. Cheers, mate.
All the best. Bye.
And you, mate. Bye. What's up there? DJ Mickey. What I used to do was use PVA and a light coat of bonding before putting on the skim coat much better over our wool. I suppose it's just having to do that extra bit of putting a bonding coat on it first. I mean, I do that when I'm artexing ceilings. A lot of guys like mess about with magic mix and thick finish and all that malarkey, but I PVA my ceilings if they're artexed, tight coat of bonding over them, so they've got a nice flat base. As soon as that starts to pull enough where it's gone, even if the colour's starting to go or not, but it's not soft, you can get the finish straight on it. You ain't got to put nothing else on it to seal it the same day, and comes out a treat. Yeah, you could do that on the wall to help kill the suction, but yeah, it's whether or not it will kill it enough or make any difference. If it's pulling on the skim, it'll pull the bonding in tight as well, won't it? And if you do that and you're using bonding and it still pulls in, it's like another lot of gear you have to put on the wall that you have to pay for, and your time, obviously. Excuse me. Evening, Mike. Nearly forgot it was on. Well, yeah, it wasn't going to be on, mate, was it? It was. I said I'll try and do Thursday because Monday going all up the pictures with the internet. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm just looking at my other screen now and it's buffering a bit. Let me know if that's happening your end. Okay, I'm on Virgin. I'm on the old Virgin Media, and recently I've been getting grief. Not with just this. I've been like trying to play some stuff on from my phone to my TV downstairs, which normally isn't a problem, and then it started not doing it or buffering on the telly, and that's got to be down to the internet. Nothing to do with me computer or anything like that. Bloody and it's Virgin, so I'm thinking that there is some other broadband that's been touting around here, so I'm probably going to go for that and not Virgin on the head. And get one of Dan's. I think Dan's on a date night tonight. Dan Arbuckle. Evening, Dan, if you're watching the recording later, mate. Hope you had a lovely evening. Silver, spoken of another plasterer said he only uses the green grit. I think that's the G stuff. Yeah, I don't like about those grits, mate. Not that I've ever used them. From other spreads is how long they sometimes take to go off. You know, best put it on the day before because it might take all day to dry, and how much gear you got to put back over that finish you got to put over it to cover the grit, which you don't want to be doing that if you ain't got to. Yes, mate, Virgin, they used to be alright, mate. I didn't have any complaints, but now once after the plasterer starts going up the pictures, mate, because of them, then it just won't do. Yeah, it's buffering a bit, mate, isn't it? There's a possibility that'll get worse, and if it does, there's no point in me carrying on. Just annoying. I was hoping it might work out all right, but it ain't looking good, is it? Ain't looking good. Stupid. Normally it's all calm and relaxed and not a problem. But this is. Yeah, as I say, I can't watch stuff that's buffering. If I'm watching anything else, it just drives out the wall. So, yeah, that was going all right a little bit earlier, as before, but it's only been about 10 minutes, hasn't it? And I can see the buffering on this other screen. The screen I've got where it's going out live, that's fine, but the where you're getting it after a couple of seconds afterwards, it's buffering again. Ah, dear. Yeah, I don't think I can carry on with that, mate. You lovely people not watching. What is it? It's just still constantly buffering my end. Is that are you getting that your end too? DJ Mickey, is that? I mean, the buffering I'm looking at, it seems to be kind of constant. It's just me jerking, jumping all the time. I know that the sound's okay, but now I'm looking at it, I'm practically freezing. Judding about like a prehistoric dinosaur movie. Wrong one. Is it watchable at the minute? That's the thing. That's all right to listen to these things, but when it's yeah, I know sound's important, but I like you to be able to see me and see the stuff that I'm putting up. Buffering is constant. Right, I'm going to knock it on the head then, guys. Sorry about that. This is the only reason I did tonight, because Monday went up the pictures, and now it's no better. I'm kidding myself if I go off and come back on again and it might work. Don't move too fast, Damien, it's fine. What about if I just kind of like do that? Hang on, I should catch up with you in a minute. Yeah, it's a bit on video, fine to watch. It's alright to watch, is it? Sound is spot on. Cheers, Martin. No, I'll crack on for a little while. If it gets really bad, and then when I knock it on the head, or if people just disappear because they think, flipping it, I can't watch that. Then yeah, but okay, we'll crack on, and we'll see how it goes. I'll try not to move too much. Oh dear. See, I don't know if I put something up on the screen, like for example, let's have a look. The old Mac Blaine on the screen. Yeah, that should come up, should be alright, shouldn't it? Why did I put Blaine up there? And why did I put Billy Joe Judd? This is for people that don't know. Or just a very timely reminder for tomorrow morning, because tomorrow morning is, yes, the Plastering podcast. 6:30 AM. I know, you can't wait. It's much better to listen to it live because gets you ready for the day. I know like, a few of the guys will actually be driving to work when it's on, but you should still be able to listen to it. Yeah, 6:30 Friday. On Trail Talk. Yeah, not on this channel. It's on Trail Talk, the Plastering Facebook page, Facebook group, and it's on Trail Talk Stuart's channel, YouTube channel. So tomorrow we got Kirk's there again. I know that Joel's there, and my old man, mine's going blank again, Alex, and so we've got Billy Joe Judd coming in for that, and also James Fish, and the Blaine should be there as well. All going well. He's got it down, and it's only if he has any problems his end with kids and stuff like that he might have to either not make it or leave quickly. but he should be there too. So I'll be there, but don't let that put you off. Hello. That's the last one. There it is. Oh look, it's not 65 days to Edinburgh. It's, what was it? Monday was 65 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 65, 64, 63, 66. Only 62 days left till the Edinburgh meet-up. For anyone that doesn't know, we're all going to meet James and Colby. Yeah. And Colby, mate. He's my star. Evening gangsters. Yeah, evening Joel. Right, where was I? Yeah, Joel will be on the podcast tomorrow as well. So 6:30, guys. If we can all get up, then I'm sure you can too. Right, let's get that off because it's a couple of days out. But yeah, we're all going a good old meet up in Edinburgh on the 10th of May, and for a few days, and it's going to be amazing. We're going to be live streaming from there on my channel, probably on Alex's channel, and all the guys that have got channels will be doing lives from there that we can enjoy while we're down there. For those of you that can't make it, and we can watch when we get back, so that'll be good. Right, hang on, where's that gone? Turn it off. I'll turn that one off. That's it. There we go. Right, we'll go over it. Hold on. No, not that one. Don't press that button. Otherwise, everyone will disappear. Have I missed anything? I made thought it was Friday. Danny, and you're on a date night, aren't you? So the missus said it was date night. Well, I think she said it was date night Thursday. When I said I might try and do Thursday. Is that picture completely frozen up now? The one I'm looking at as. Stupid internet. Missed anything else? Yeah, it's a bit of video. Fine to watch the. Yeah. Go out to the function. Right. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry, just checking things out. For those of you that don't normally come here, it doesn't normally buffer and get stuck like this. You can normally see everything that's going on in the old Hawk and Trout community boozer. But had a few issues on Monday trying to get the internet working properly, and so I thought I'd come out Thursday for a change, because it's nice to go out for a drink on a Thursday, isn't it? Have a bit of chat with your lads and your ladies and your mates, and yeah, I mean, it's let me down again, mate. So that's Virgin for anybody that's thinking of coming over to Virgin. I think they might be doing it to make me upgrade to whatever their latest box is, but I'm not falling for it. No, I'll go with someone else. This is yeah, it just spoils the whole live stream. Spoils the whole live stream, but never mind. Never mind. I'm assuming. Can you guys let me know if you can still hear me, and whether or not the picture's stuck solid at your end? Good evening. If you can hear me, even if I've got stuck. Yeah, she's with me now. All right, mate. Can you, Danny? Can you? I don't spoil your date night, mate. Date night shouldn't be in the community booth. At the old Alton Trout. Having a candlelit dinner. This on the telly. That'd be good. Yeah, Danny, is my picture completely frozen where you're watching from, mate? Because Danny's good picture is jumping. Okay, yeah, the picture I've got here is just got completely stuck. So I don't know what people are seeing out there. Never mind. I shall crack on unless everybody disappears because it's got that bad, and then I'll turn it off. But for the time being, while there's still people that can hang on in there and watch and listen, I'll carry on. So yes, people, we've got the old podcast 6:30 tomorrow morning on Trout Talk. I can't wait to get out of bed for that. Excuse me. I've only had the cough for a week so far, so I've got a long time to go with it yet. Excuse me. Oh, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is After Plasterer, and you are the old Hawk and Trout community boozer. It's still a date night, Judy. Cool. Good. Yeah, as long as you're together, it's a date night, isn't it? Simples. Yeah, you're watching After Plasterer. Well, you're sort of watching it. You're mostly listening to it, watching me jump around on me buffering because my internet's up the swanny. I've been a plasterer for 38 years in South London, and you can ring in, you can type in and ask me any plastering related questions, and if I don't know the answers, one of the gang will. So feel free. What's that, Mark? We're getting spoilt this week. 2 After Plasterers. Joel's live stream. Oh yeah, Joel's live stream. I said to Joel I missed it live. I clicked onto Facebook and saw it. Oh, Joel. And I looked at it and I thought, oh, it's Joel live, but it was like another hours earlier or the day before. I'm sorry, Joel, if you're watching, mate, I missed that. Yeah, it's crazy, mate. Yeah, me, 2 After Plasterers, Joel, and tomorrow, obviously. That's something my brain's trying to block tomorrow out because of the time. Hey ho. Yeah, the picture on my other monitor hasn't moved. It still says Edinburgh in 65 days on the bottom. Oh dear. Cheers anyway. Hello, Richard. Hi, Eric. You're not buffering now? No, good. Cheers, mate. It's good to know because mine, as I say, my other monitor that's meant to show me what's going out live is just completely got stuck. So yeah. What's that, Danny? It's buffering mega, mate. Yeah, it wasn't buffering for Richard a minute ago. It's buffering Mega, mate, but can still hear you clearly. Nothing like a bit of Ask the Plasterer on date night. Oh, thanks, Joel. Thanks, Joel. That means a lot, mate. That means a lot. Live is better. Live is better. I would have liked to have seen it, like, watched it live. Oh, well, I'm getting funny sounds in these, but I don't know why. I don't know what it's telling me something. I don't think I've been cut off. I think the microphone's still working. Good evening, eagle-eyed people. The guys and girls in the bar. I've got an updated picture of Kirk Johnston because that other one was a bit, yeah, it wasn't great. We've got a lovely one there, and Anthony Parry as well. Found a much nicer photo of him, and of course my old friend and mucker Kirk Giordano, who's, for those of you that don't know, I did interview on Ask the Plasterer, so that's in on the old channel if you ever want to watch that. I've popped him up there in the top corner, looking over everyone else's head. Didn't want to leave him out. And Joe Mac Plastering as well, the old mate Joe. I was thinking, because I was looking at it the other day and I was thinking, who's not there? And I thought, well, Joe's not on there. Kirk Giordano's not on there. And I thought, oh, Blaine, well, yeah, my old mate Blaine as well. I've interviewed Blaine, but only on an audio interview. But he should be there tomorrow morning with us, 6:30. Yeah, you can watch it afterwards on the catch-up, but come on, sets you up for the day. I mean, you're wide awake by the end of it, and it's only about 7. Oh dear. While I'm buffering, I might as well have another sip on me beer. Anyway, don't get used to me coming out on a Thursday because, well, yeah, because Monday seems to work well for most people. It's better now, mate. It's better meaning it's not buffering quite so much. Oh dear. Never mind. Right. What else? I've mentioned the podcast. I've mentioned Edinburgh. I've mentioned Danny's date night and the newbies in the bar. What else can I tell you? Oh yeah, when I was chatting to Johnny earlier when I said about that job that I looked at. It won't be ready till sometime after September, but you know, it's good to book things in advance. Working great now, Mike. Hey, cool. Long may it last. Yeah, you'd have to keep me up to date because, as I say, I don't know from this end. It's not working from my end properly. So, cheers, Mike. Yeah, I'll just guess it's all working and you can see me and it's all lovely in the old community boozer. If you've not been here before, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is
Ask the Plasterer.
Oh, that didn't work then. Hang on.
Ask the Plasterer.
That's it, yeah. With me, Eric the Plasterer. Usually, normally, every other Monday from 7 o'clock to about 8:30. I've been a plasterer in South London for 38 years. And you can come on this channel and it's our community boozer where all the gang come along, apart from the gang that can do a Monday but can't do a Thursday. And we just have a chat and about plastering mostly, but we can cover some other bits and pieces. But yeah, and it's a community here on Ask the Plasterer and Trout Talk, of course. Trout Talk, the best and most friendly Facebook group in the old wide world. Oh, hang on, Richard. I hate looking at jobs where they're not ready until a couple of months now. Well, I did kind of ask for it a little bit because I put a mail shot out when things were a little bit quiet in January. But basically saying to people, look, you know, I want to try and get me a year booked up. So I'm going to take bookings, you know, a bit risky with the price of material going up and down, or mostly up. I'd like to get dates booked in through the year in advance. So I just got to look at that one as one of those. But yeah, it is. Yeah, I often get them like during the year. a job will come in. I think, oh, actually, I'll shoot over there. Take a look at that. And then I think, nah. No. I don't know if I mentioned. I don't think I mentioned it on Monday. I went to look. Well, no, I didn't go to look at it actually. A job came in, but it was right across the other side of London, and it would have taken me about. I think it was an hour and a. Was it an hour and a half? I mean, ridiculous. An hour and a half to get there, hour and a half to get back, and the congestion charge was en route, and there was no parking right outside the job on the drive. It was road parking. For which they needed to get them. They were going to get me a permit if I did the job, and it was a big unconverted house as far as I know. And I kind of guessed that they would. It was 3 stories, and I kind of guessed that their flat would be the top floor. And I wasn't disappointed when they came back to me and said, that we're the top floor. So I just politely declined it because I thought, as Stuart said in the past. There's been times when I might have jumped in the motor and driven all the way there, even just to look at it. And I don't only then get there like an hour and a half plus later and think, why did you drive all the way here? You know, this is going to be a nightmare of a journey for this particular job. It's better to go out into the sticks than try and get across London during a rush hour. Or even if you go out early to get there a bit quicker, coming back you get stuck in some kind of rush hour or the school's coming out or whatever. So that's not so hot. So yeah, I politely declined that one. But as I say, I could have shot over there, spent time, money, petrol, looking at it, and then pricing it out and sending in a quote. And then possibly still not getting the job at the end of the day. So yeah, it is best to try and suss out a job if you can by like some photos and videos if it's going to be if it's going to be long distance. And just to get a feel of what's what. Jordan, evening mate. Hello mate, what's your reasoning behind using neat PVA over diluted PVA? Have you ever had any problems or have any cons using it? For me mate, I was just giving John some advice earlier, but I generally I say generally, yeah, all of my jobs, bar probably none, I use neat PVA. One good coat, and I let it dry completely before. Then everything sticks to it. We plaster, we scrims because there's no dust or anything, so the scrims stick nice. If it's tacky like anything else, useless, especially for sticking scrim to. But once it's gone, scrim, plaster, fantastic. Don't normally get issues. On the odd occasion, I get something similar to John, where you do get that just mad suction on a wall, but it's normally. You can handle it. No, I was as I say, I've done it that way for years now. And the only time I ever had an issue, donkey's back, was when I went over PVA when it was still tacky. I started getting sliding and all sorts of stuff, and I thought, oh, this ain't good. But when I started using it neat and going on it when it was dry, I've had no issues, and I've been doing it for absolutely donkey's years. And I don't doubt that something like SBR and other sealers you can get to put on old plaster before you go over it are good, but when you can buy the cheapest stuff, which is still gone up to 14, 15 quid a blooming for 5 litres now, compared to what you're paying for SBR and other stuff. Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I haven't really had any issues with it, but I don't really dilute it down. And I was told that because it's water soluble PVA, that if you do one coat, let that dry, and then put another coat on, the coat you're putting on top of that will wetting it up again. I don't know whether that actually happens or not, because it's something I've never kind of looked into or scientifically tested. But I have absolutely no issues with it when I just go over that. So I hope that was a long-winded answer, Jordan, I think, but I hope that helps, mate. But yeah, that's what I've been using it for donkey's years. Neat PVA. I used to get told off a lot by people when I first started telling them that's what I did. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, and again with anything else, when you're doing any kind of job, this isn't just for you, John, this is for anybody generally. When you're doing any kind of plastering job, if your end result is pucker, it looks pucker, it feels pucker, it paints over pucker, and the customer is whizzy happy, and they pay you your money, then I don't care how you've done it or what you've used. There is traditional ways of doing plastering. Cheers, John. There's traditional ways of doing plastering, and which have changed a lot because of all the kind of things that have been brought in, speed skims, different types of spats, flexible trowels and all the rest of it, and they've got their pros and their cons. Die-hard guys will sort of say, look, well, that's not part of plastering as far as they're concerned, and I completely understand where they're coming from, because it's not traditional plastering, because traditional plastering, hulk, trowel, wooden float, not flexible trowels, not great big spats, might have a derby, feather edges, and that's it. Corner twitchers and stuff, but and additives or blah blah blah. But it just wasn't done. So, but if something works, I mean, when I suggest things to people, I'm not telling them to do it that way. As a lot of the other guys, even Paul, as I tell a lot of the other guys, if they're doing something, and other guys go, oh no mate, don't do it like that. You're doing it completely wrong. If it's not going well what you're doing, then yeah, you're doing it wrong. If it's coming out fine, the wall looks lovely, there's no issues with it as far as you can tell or the customer can tell, then to be honest, you know, do what works is what I say. I would give my opinions to what I do, how I work. Kirk and the other guys, they will tell you ways of doing stuff. Some of the guys will say, look, you know, this is just the way I do it, you don't have to do it this way. You and the other guys will say, look, if you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. But hey, it takes all sorts to make a world, doesn't it, eh? Welcome to Old Organ Trail, Community Boozer. Ask the Plasterer. Yeah, I went with the Plasterer in South London for the last 38 years. And this is where we meet fortnightly, on a Monday normally at 7. But because the internet went funny on Monday just gone, I said I'd do it Thursday for a change. So that's what's happening. Yeah, how is everybody's week? Is everything going swimmingly for everybody out there? And are we all busy? I say I started getting busy, and now I'm kind of getting a bit quiet again. That can change like, overnight. Only takes a couple of phone calls with some big jobs, and then suddenly say, "Way, I'm back on it." Dear. But yeah, I've recently found a mate of mine that I've been plastering 30 odd years. I did see him a few years back, and John Hyman. John, if you're watching this at any point, be nice to see you, mate, and do some jobs together. Yeah, and I didn't realise he's still only in Mitcham, which is just up the road from me. So just now and again, it would be nice to be able to get some help on jobs where, you know, if there's a really big ceiling that I would have to crack into two, I'd rather get a mate to help me spread it and get it all done in one hit, or rather than turn down possibly a job that might be a little bit too big for me, which I do on occasion. I could jump in with someone like John, or we could jump in with me and take the job on. So I digress. Jordan, what are you drinking tonight? Me, Jordan, I'm drinking the old Brewdog's back to front in there. Brewdog Pint IPA. I found it was the closest thing I could get to. It's funny, really, because I used to, generally, most of my life I've been a lager drinker, and like whiskey or brandy now and again, but mostly lager, and couldn't stand any kind of real ale, because a mate of mine was a proper real ale drinker, and I had a couple at his house one night, and boy, I had the diggiest tummy I ever did have, apart from when I had food poisoning that time, and but I'm never touching real ale again. It's horrible, and that didn't go down well. And then quite a few years later, we went out to in Chichester. I think it was camping even. My old caravan van, and we went to some pub where they were doing these taste things of real ale, just little glasses with about 6 different ales in them. I thought, oh yeah, go on, let's try them out, and tried a few, and a couple of them I thought, well, that tastes quite nice. And suddenly, for some strange reason, I've acquired a taste for real ale, which was really strange because I've never used to like it. and then I like pale ales in particular. And the closest one I could get to that tastes like the one in the pub on draft was this Pint IPA. So I started mostly drinking that when I do have a beer, which isn't that often. I was meant to go out for a drink with my mate on Wednesday night, but he's got the same cold as me, so that got blown out. So that's another reason why it's nice to be in the old Trow this evening with you boys and girls. Oh dear, welcome to the Old Alton Trow Community Boozer, the Plasterers pub. Where we meet, me and the gang meet up, normally on a Monday, but tonight is Thursday. For all the guys that have already heard me say this a few times already, I'm sorry. It's for the new people. It's for the new people. Been plastering 38 years. Yeah, in South London. Eric the Plasterer. Ask me anything about plastering. You can ask me other things, but I might not answer. But we'll see. Depends what they are. Yeah. So, I'll tell you what, Jamie, if you're still there, mate. I'll tell you how stuck my screen is. It still says "and Colby" from your last comment that you made about that on it. So, I'm assuming that we're not buffering and that everything's okay, boys and girls. Oh yeah, Johnny, thanks for ringing in, mate, because it makes a nice change for me and for the crowd to be able to hear someone else's dulcet tones rather than me just waffling on for however long. Oh, sorry people, I'm going to blow my nose. Don't go away. Right. Oh, tell you what I did buy once. I don't know if any of you seen that picture of Kirk that he put up of him in a wig on some scaffold. Scaffold like it used to be for doing ceilings, where you got loads of planks right across the whole room, like kind of gaps in between. And when you're spreading, you just kind of look up and down as you go, so make sure you don't fall through the holes. And that was proper decking, nearly. Good jobs. Oh, Eric, what's your number one? What's your number one? My number one skill? I don't know if I've got any skills, mate. Apart from plastering, obviously. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Mark. Oh, good. Oh, good. What am I best at? What in life in general, or plastering? That's you, Joel, isn't it? Tells me that. Work-wise, Joel, or plastering-wise, I like a lot of guys. I think I just like skimming. It's easy. I prefer floating and setting to dotting and dabbing or dabbing. But yeah, don't like. Well, I like a bit of rendering if it's indoors, and I know I'm not going to get rained on, bruv. But that's why I knocked a lot of outdoor rendering on the head, and why I want to be a bricklayer. Because I just, nah. Hang on. Jordan, what's that? I was the same, mate. Punk IPA, like a good bridge between lager and IPA. I don't drink much else now. I've changed over. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's a nice drop of beer. As I say, it's the closest I can get to a draft one in the pub. I bought some other ones in the old bottles and cans, but they're a bit. Yeah, I'm not a bitter man. I did used to drink Guinness for a while, years ago, but to do that I had to like make myself drink it to acquire a taste for it. Then I got a taste for it, and it was lovely. And then as time went by, I just stopped drinking Guinness and haven't really had a decent one. But I've heard the only real decent Guinness you can get is actually in Ireland. I hear that there's something about the pumps in Ireland for Guinness. It could just be a wives' tale. Something about the pumps that they use in Ireland that they don't use in London or England, and it just don't taste the same. I think it's just being in Ireland that makes it taste nice. But I've yet to have that privilege, which I'm hoping to do with some of my mates that live over there. Mark. Martin, not plastering related, do you have any web experts on here having trouble with my website? No, my website, mate, is a drag and drop affair. Really easy to use. Wix websites are really good. Depends what kind of troubles you're having, mate. If you're into programming and all that malarkey, can't help you at all. It's far too complicated. Who was it that did that kind of stuff? I think it was Blaine, actually. I was having a chat with Blaine at one point. He used to do something like that. Or was it? It was either him or Joel or both of them. Yeah, at least one of the guys or a couple of the guys know what they're doing with website. I think it was Blaine, but I'm not 100% now. But if you're there tomorrow, you could pop that in as a question. It's like, while I'm here, oh Blaine, have you got anything about websites? I'm having issues. But yeah, what issues are you having with it, Martin? Just so I've got an idea, mate, what's what. Yeah. Good evening if you just joined us. I'm Eric Plasterer. This is Ye Old Talking Trail Community Boozer, where we meet every other Monday at 7 o'clock, or from 7 o'clock to about 8:30. Only here tonight because last Monday just gone went a bit funny with the internet. So good evening if you just joined us, and thank you for coming along. You can ask me any plastering related questions. Doesn't matter if you're time served, whether you are a DIYer, or anything else like that. Yeah, there's no such thing as a stupid question regards plastering, and that is also what you will find if you're not already and you became a member or become a member of Trail Talk Facebook group. You will get all the help you need on that site, because all the guys on there, which includes most of this lot, if not all of them, are absolutely blooming legends in their own lifetimes. So hang on, sorry, Martin, what's that? I can't get it to appear on Google. Oh, you got to do that CEO stuff, mate. Yes, where I use my sorry, going off tangent a little bit. Well, where I use my got the Wix website. They've got a system you go through to help you get all that stuff going again. And if you get onto Google My Business as well, which I was on years ago, I didn't update it for donkeys. I was still down as Development Construction or something. And then Stuart Roberts sort of reminded me that, you know, if you get on that, mate, and update it and get people to put their reviews on there, you'll start appearing in your locality or wherever. So I've been starting to do that, and that's working out really well. So and it also helps you link your Google business to your website and vice versa, which helps give you more. But so anyway, you get it onto Google, mate, other than paying for it. And I did that years ago, and it wasn't like the pay-per-click, and it wasn't cost-effective for me. I think it was costing me about 150 quid a month at the time, which was silly money. And you get so many apparently people clicking on it that never seem to ring you or text you. And you kind of, and then the company Google swear blind they're not bogus because they're already filtered out the bogus ones. But you're thinking, well, you know, these people, if I'm paying for these people to click on my site and they're not even like getting in contact with me, then you know, too much money. Shouldn't have to cough up. We got to get enough work from Google for freebie. Yeah. Cheers. I can't remember what I was waffling about before that. I'm easily distracted. That's why I'm very impressed by the old stand-up comedians and people that do any kind of teaching or preaching out the front. It's remembering stuff. If I go off on a tangent, that's it. I just keep going down that way because I can't go back to where I was because I've forgotten what it was. I've been known to meet an old friend and go to introduce them to someone that doesn't know them and then forget their name. Oh dear. Oh, please come and visit me in the home. Oh, my phone's tinged. Exciting. Did you just type that up? Do I have a minimum charge? I've started to have, well, when it's little jobs that you kind of like think, you know, you got to have a minimum charge, mate, otherwise it's not worth doing. Because yeah, I would normally say, look, it's going to cost you 200 quid minimum charge for me to do that job. Is it, you know, is it worth? It's got to be worth me coming to your place and looking at it and doing the job, paying for material, tidying up, having the day kind of spoiled. Because I'm not the kind of guy who will try and rush from one job to another. If I'm doing a job somewhere, basically that's taking up a chunk of my day, and so that's my day as far as I'm concerned. So it's basically a day's work, and then if people want to pay it. If it's a very small job, then you know, it's daft going somewhere and doing something for 50 quid, unless you're going to lots of little jobs and you're happy doing that, charging about 50 quid for each little job that comes in. But little jobs don't come in that often, or not for me anyway. They tend to be either more than big enough or too big, but never too small. When they are, yeah, I minimum charge about 200 quid. 200 quid. It's got to be done. And I'm making sure that my day rate, if people want to know it, is 300 quid. But that's not for priced work. Obviously, if I'm doing a room, if I'm doing a full room, walls to ceiling, just skimming, we're looking £700, something like that. But yeah, you got to have a minimum. You got to have a minimum. Well, you haven't got to. You do whatever's good for you, but you got to remember, when we're self-employed, there's no holiday pay. There's no. You got your tax. Not just your tax that you have to pay, your tax on your motor, wear and tear on your motor, having to buy a new motor if your van packs up, either getting it fixed or getting another one. Just everything else. When you're off sick, you don't get paid. When you go on holiday, you don't get paid. All those things have to be taken into account when you're going to look at a job or do a job. It's really easy to sort of, oh, patch that up. Oh, I've got a bag of plaster in the car. That ain't cost me nothing. Yeah, it has cost you something. You went and bought, when you built it, it cost you something then. Because you got that left over, that really didn't cost you anything to use it on another job. So you've got to, yeah, you've got to have a minimum charge, people. Well, in my opinion, I think we should have a minimum charge. If it's an old lady in distress who's got something that needs doing that I can sort out very quickly, then it would be less. Other than that, no. If it's so small, it's probably not something you'd want to do anyway. If the people are happy to pay you minimum charge, then, you know, lovely. It's a nice day's work. Or nice, not day's work, but it's, yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Jordan, what's your opinion on sponge floating skim, and have you had any experience with it? No, I don't tend to do it. The only time I sponge floated skim was when I was learning, back in the olden days. Long before you might have even been born, and yeah, and it works quite well because it kind of brings fat to the surface, kind of evens things out a bit. But it used to leave a bit of a scratchy mark on the wall. It's an extra process you don't really need to do. Some guys that get used to doing it do it all the time. But if you learn to do setting by always floating up with a sponge, and then like troweling it off. Then it becomes very difficult to know how to not do sponging, if that makes sense. I don't personally like it. Some guys like it. A lot of guys definitely don't like it. Mentioning no names. But yeah, so yeah, I don't tend to do it because it's just something else that takes more time when you're doing your actual set. It does. The only time it can help you is if you're getting a bit stuck. If something's beating you and it's starting to pull in too quick and go off, and you kind of thinking, oh sugar, I need to, you know, rather than chuck a ton of water at it, you're better to like use a sponge on it to bring the surface to life and then trowel it over. But I would only do that if I got stuck. But saying that, I haven't got a sponge float or a sponge in my kit, so even if I do get unstuck, I just have to do what I can the way I normally do with a trowel, because I haven't got a sponge float. If I had one and I got really stuck, then I would probably quickly grab it for that, or just use a wet brush. It's kind of the same. But yeah, I don't recommend it. But if you do it and you like doing it and it works well for you, then you crack on. Cheers, JT. Yeah, you have to be. You just have to be a bit sensible at the end of the day when it comes on when it comes to pricing things. Because yeah, if you do something for next to nothing, then you might find you start getting a lot of jobs because people pass that on to their friends. They go, oh, that Eric, yeah, he patched up an hole for me. It was only charged me 25 quid. He had a bit of old plaster in his motor anyway, and well, he wasn't exactly passing, but yeah. And their friends go, oh god, years ago I did a job for a couple. They were a lovely couple. Don't get me wrong, lovely couple, and because their situation was a harsh one, and they were in dire straits. But he needed some plastering doing, and I went there and I practically did it for nothing, which I was happy to do. But I charged him something, but it was I didn't make any money from doing it, and he he was very pleased, but then he wanted me to do the whole house. So I thought, oh dear. Obviously, assuming it would all kind of cost about the same as it did for this particular room or whatever. I still helped him out on a few things, but I couldn't. I didn't have the time. I had a big mortgage to pay, so I had to. Yeah. I did what needed doing, but talked him out of the other stuff because I don't think it particularly needed doing. But I think he just thought, oh, if it's going to be that cheap, I'll have my whole house done. Which kind of defeated the object anyway, but hey ho, yeah. So yeah, if you want to do any kind of like charity work or anything like that, or do a job for nothing for people, and you can afford to do that, then there's nothing wrong with that at all. Or even if you can't afford to do it just out of that kind of person, then that's great. But yeah, being self-employed can be harsh in the as I say, there's no sick pay, no holiday pay. But I wouldn't go back to any kind of job that was sort of on the cards. Not unless it was absolute sweet as a nut and it was paying you a fortune, and you got holiday pay and sick pay, and your governor was lovely bloke all the time, every day of the year. But yeah, I don't think those kind of jobs really exist in the old building game. Jordan, I've done it. I missed it. No, I've done it for about a year and loved it. Finish was great, very flat, but like you said, another step and more kit to carry. True, mate. I was doing a lot of jobs, a day here, a day there, just something else to get out. Yeah. No, it's just like I say, it's okay, sponge floating, but. Yeah, I try and do, like most spreads, I mean, you can be, I mean, some guys are really particular that their work has got to be 100%. It's got to be, your job's got to be 100% in, your customer's got to be happy, it's got to look nice, it's got to be a good job. But some people will kind of like almost do something that is great and the customer's very happy, but they're like, you know what, that bit there, I'm not happy with that. I'm gonna knock that bit off and I'm gonna do it again. And that's silly. Come on, guys, don't do that. I know there's not many of you out there that do that, but there are some. Yeah. So yeah, forgot as usual. I've gone off on a. Well, I haven't gone off on a tangent, have I? I've just got a lousy memory. I can be talking about one thing and 2 minutes later I go like, what was I talking about? As a lot of the regulars will know, I'm not yeah, not the sharpest pencil in the pencil case. Thank you very much. Yeah. If I was, I might have been a chippy. Well, I'm no good at the maths. Dear. Chippies and plumbers, that's a good job if you can get it. You'll discover if you've ever worked on for building companies or on sites that generally the people that became the foreman or the blokes in charge were previously, before that point, chippies, mostly, in my experience. For those of you who don't know, the podcast at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Be there, I'll be sad. The points on discussion are site work, domestic work, which is better, if either. Is it better to do one and or the other? Is it, anyway, the whole discussion, apart from maybe something else that might get chucked in between, is about, site work, domestic work. What's the difference? What's the benefits, the pluses, the good sides, the downsides? Excuse me. And, yeah, so be there for that. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to go to bed late tonight and get up in time for 6:30 tomorrow. Where are we? What's the time? I told the missus I'd only do an hour because I'd already done the best part of Monday. Yeah, I think she misses me. Can you blame her? Ooh. Anywho, I'm guessing that we've had no more buffering issues this evening. That's all been good. Richard, I'm a fan of sponging only because on domestic jobs I'm always going over old, unpredictable walls, all different suctions. Yeah, that's what I was saying to John earlier. Mark, wish I'd been a joiner instead of a tradesman. Yeah. Yeah, Richard, that was. If you do have issues with the old stuff pulling in too quick or pulling in different areas, that's quite handy. That's that. It didn't really kick off, did it? That plaster that you were meant to be able to use without PVA in the walls, just put it straight on. Even that was meant to be quite good, but it still seemed to go off. Some patches stayed wet, some patches dried slower. Okay, you didn't need to PVA it, but I thought I'd rather get something PVA and try and get the same suction over the whole thing, which is normally the case. And yeah, I'd only have to use a sponge, if I used a sponge, on something if it was really pulling in one particular place for some unexpected reason. Hey. You just got here, James, have you? There's Evening Eric on there. I thought you were here ages ago. There's only one James. There's only one James Coote, isn't there? What's happened there? Evening, Tony. Traditionally, chippies were formed due to houses being built with wooden frames going back many years. Yeah, probably right. Probably right. It's just, I remember you used to point it out to me. It's probably my father-in-law. He would say, see a foreman. He probably would have been a chippy before that because of the ins and outs of what they know when it comes to construction. Because you say a lot of construction, especially nowadays, and especially not in the UK. It's all bloody timber frame, isn't it? So if a chippy don't know what they're doing on a timber framed house, then I don't know who would. Thanks, Richard just reminded me I forgot you was back on this week. Yeah, it was only, well, I'm pretty sure I said I might be back Thursday night because of Monday going up the Swanee, but yeah, but I'm pleased a lot of you guys have made it anyway, because nothing worse than coming on here and everybody's out or watching something on the telly. Not that there's much good stuff on the telly nowadays. But then saying that, nowadays people just stream what they want to watch, don't they? Back in the olden days when I was little, even before video recorders, if you missed a programme, mate, you missed it. You couldn't watch it late. Well, they repeat. Did they repeat? They must have done repeats at some point. But if a film was on at the cinema, you had to wait 6 years before it came on the telly. I think it was about 6 years. It wasn't like within a months. It's not even months now, is it? And yeah, if I miss Grange Hill, I miss Grange Hill. Simple as that. But then one of my sisters, she got one of the first video cassette players. And the only ones we had at school, they were reel to reel. reel-to-reel video players at school, and they would wheel in this telly on a great big trolley. It was about 8 foot high, with a telly on the top, big proper telly with a tube in it, and a reel-to-reel video underneath. I mean, only schools had them. It's not something you bought for at home. But then my sister got a cassette one, and she taped Grange Hill for me, and I was amazed. I thought, I've taped music before, but how can you tape a picture on magnetic tape? It's not film, it's just a magnetic tape. It was amazing, as was the invention of the mobile phone and sat-nav, all of which I've seen come into play because they didn't exist when I was younger. The youth of today, they don't know how good they've got it. Oh dear. I don't know what I was talking about before I went off on that tangent. It's about being a bit, Jordan, is that to JT? I've used Rafina's plastic blade for years, flattening. I found the grip comfortable compared to speed skims. Stiff plastic tends to pull the first coat in quicker, allowing you to second faster. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the guys, normally whatever kind of spats they use first, like a lot of things you do with spreading or in all sorts of trades, you kind of think, I like that one. That's because you've used that one first and got used to it, and then when you try something new, it's not always the case you prefer it. I mean, it's not. Sometimes you do. And that's quite good. Oh, that's what I mentioned earlier, wasn't it? I told Kirk Johnston. He put some picture up of him in a wig, which reminded me. I bought this Boris wig. Well, Boris wig. Is this the Boris wig? Yeah, never used it until then. But I do some stupid things on video sometimes. But why not? Why not? If you're just joining us, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer. You might be surprised to know. This is the community boozer, the Old Hawken Trail, where we meet every other Monday from 7 o'clock, and it normally goes out a day or so after on as a podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, Trail Talk, by the way, is also now all the podcasts and other stuff that Stuart's done via that is also going out on Spotify. Trail Talk on Spotify as podcasts, so you can, apart from not just listening to me, you can listen to all the stuff that Stuart's starting to upload to the platform, and you can listen to them on your on the way to work or when you're at work. But, pop it on. You ain't got to have YouTube open or anything like that. You can just listen to me and Stuart and the rest of the gang on podcasts and all sorts of stuff. Oh God, we spoil you. Yes. Oh, it's great to be alive. I've been a plasterer for 38 years, South London. Yeah, South London, and I'm here to answer any of your plastering related questions, and if I can't answer them, someone else will be able to. Yeah, I know, better knock it on the head soon, because the wife might get upset with me. I'll only be an hour, babe, because I did Monday, didn't I? So, yeah, I'm not going to be an hour and a half. Not tonight. He said, only been an hour and, what's the time? An hour and 15 minutes so far. So, I'm not keeping to me word. Right, is there anything I can mention other than be there at 6:30 tomorrow morning for the Plastering Podcast with Stuart Roberts and a whole host of celebrity spreads and me too. Mark, I use the Rafina plastic speed skin too. I haven't tried. I mean, if someone lent me theirs or gave me a Rafina plastic speed skin, I'd try them out. But because I get on all right with the Ox ones. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. I bought myself. It came today as well. It's funny because it said it'd take about a month to come for some reason. But I ordered myself a pool trowel, POOL, because Kurt Giordano, he uses one nearly all the time. And I want to find out whether it leaves any tram lines when you use it for skimming. So anyway, I'll be doing a video on that, a quick box opening, and crack on with my next job and see what I can do with it. See what I can do with it and how it turns out. James, been using my carbon steel all week, been lovely, not been rusting either, which is nice. Is it you that recently bought one, James? Someone posted a picture of they just bought a new carbon trowel and been soaking it in the old vinegar overnight and sharpening it. Someone said they've been sharpening it up for, I don't know, hours. I don't know, just sit there watching telly, sharpening it on a bit of sandpaper or what. But, I'm going to be trying a bit of Venetian plastering in my old bedroom as well. Just doing a panel of it at first to see how it goes. I did want to do some in the front room, but the missus said, you're not putting anything on in the front room if you've never done it before. Which I suppose is fair enough. Oh dear. Wait. Oh, who's that? Someone's got to bed. Someone's got to bed, but they didn't come up on here. Yeah, it's funny. So all the questions that come in from anybody should all come up on the screen, and I've either missed them or coming in on my forum. In my for those of you who don't know, if you look at any of my videos, there should be a link on there to the community forum. I haven't plugged it for so long I can't remember what I called it. It's the Ask the Plasterer community forum. We can come on there and put photos on. We chat to each other just about jobs, where we're going, what we're doing, and that's quite a good crack, as well as doing the old trowel talk. Jordan, I've heard the pull trowel is best to get like an inch or two bigger because of the curved ends. What size did you get? I've got an 18. Well, I've got it with me here. I've got an 18. It's an 18-inch long and it's 4 inches wide. As I say, when you have the longer trowels, any kind of trowel, you don't want because I've got an Ops 18 by 5, which is great for putting on skim for laying on, but still, because I don't do a lot of sand and cement work, and I ain't got the time to be sanding it. It's still no good for troweling up, but it's great for that. But you put on a bit of bonding with it, or a bit of sand and cement, forget it. You knacker your wrists in 5 minutes. There's too much weight to be shifting about. Great for laying on, but this thing, yeah, because it's only 4 inches across, but it is 18 inches long still. So I'm hoping to get some good results with it, but we'll see. I want to see if what does happen on the actual in the tramline department. And I've been sharpening it up a bit as well because I want to try and wear it in. Obviously, rubbish for getting into corners because it ain't got any. But I think that's going to be a mix of me like trying to lay on with that, seeing how that goes, and obviously to get into my corners and stuff, I'll use my Marshalltown 14 inches. Is it? Yeah, I think it's 14. Yeah. In the old traditional way. Yeah, I've got to admit, I've been using my flexi trowel a lot less often. I've just been using it to tighten up my edges. I've been finishing some of my recent work under the metal blade of the speed skim. Metal blade speed skim. And I'll tell you, it leaves well, if you do it right anyway, it leaves a lovely finish. Somewhere between matte and shiny. It's not shiny and it's not matte. It's somewhere in between the two. And obviously it's nice and flat, and obviously it's a bit less work again on the wrists because you're troweling up with that, and it tends to dry a nice even colour the wool rather than getting those patchy kind of looks that you get when you fill in with fat. Of course, you're not a plaster if you don't fill in with fat, if you have got a hollow in something. But yeah. That, I don't know if you've seen it or I've noticed I popped it up here, the old my video of how not to put plastic mesh on a wall. It's only a small area. I was doing other areas as well, but it's only the one bit that I filmed. And I cut this bit of mesh for this wall above the stairs in the staircase, and completely cut it back to front. I only measured it once and cut it once. You should measure it twice and then cut it once. And but I didn't put it up against the wall just to check it. I was confident and I laid the skim on there, and then when I went to stick it on, it wouldn't fit, and then I turned it round and it still wouldn't fit. It was the bit I should have kept, I chopped off rather than the other way round. Yeah, but hey, I got there in the end. But this is a video of how not to do it, but I saved it, thankfully. Oh dear. If you just joined us, I'm Eric the Plasterer. This is Ask the Plasterer, Community Boozer, the old Hawk and Trail, where we meet up with a gang normally on a Monday, every other Monday from 7, and it goes out as a video straight after the live stream, and it goes out as a podcast the day or so after. Only here tonight because the internet went a bit dodgy on Monday, so we're doing Thursday just as a one-off, kind of for a change. I might occasionally grab a different day to do it, just to zhuzh things up a bit, but generally, so people know where they are. Yep, every other Monday, 7 o'clock till about 8:30. Ask the Plasterer in the Community Boozer with the gang. So if you didn't know, now you do, and if you did know, I'm sorry to keep repeating it. Dear Jordan, we could keep us updated how it is, mate. Yeah, no, I will do. I'll do a video when I use the pool trowel. I'm not going to video the Venetian plastering practice because I've seen enough videos of things like that. So if I get any good at it, I'll apart from maybe plugging it to customers. I'll tell you another thing I used to do. Was, I don't know if you saw it a few years back now. It was a bit popular for a while. It's the paint that glows in the dark. It just from the daylight kind of like gives it enough zhuzh during the day, or you can buy an ultraviolet light to give it a blast for 5 minutes, and then you turn it off, and then basically you do starscapes on them, and you can't see this paint. You can't see it. It's clear, but it's all different colours. You literally do like a galaxy or stars or whatever on a ceiling, on a white ceiling. So during the day, it just looks like a white ceiling, normal ceiling, and then when it gets dark, and you turn the lights off, the whole ceiling just looks like you're looking up into space. And our box room, I did that on the ceiling, and I did it on the walls as well. And I'm not kidding, it looks amazing. I mean, the wife made me paint over it when we redecorated some years later, but which was a bit gutting for me because I used to like just laying there sometimes in the dark, looking at these 10 stars, and you could kid yourself you were floating in space. It's amazing. So I've still got some of that paint. It's quite expensive, but yeah, it was very popular at the time. So I might add that back onto my bow, and there's just different things to do decor-wise. So Venetian plastering and the old starscapes on the ceiling that only show at night and you can't see during the day. I don't have to do it on a black ceiling or anything like that. Nice white ceiling. All these coloured luminous paints are clear, and they just glow different colours at night. It's amazing, he said. Anyway, give me your opinion on stuff like that. What do you think? Okay, time to get on, boys and girls. I was only going to do an hour because I promised the wife, but it's already been nearly an hour and a half. So it's been about the normal time. Sorry about the buffering earlier. Oh, actually, I've just noticed that my actual other screen is actually moving again. But I'm pleased it worked out all right because I was just going to knock it on the head again. But it's been all right. It's been all right. It's not been bad, has it? Right, I am going to. He said. Right. Oh, there it is. I'm going to call it an evening, boys and girls. Thank you for coming along to the Old Hawk and Trail Community Boozer. I will be back not this Monday coming, but the Monday after from 7 o'clock. Yeah, look forward to it. Hopefully I'll have my internet sorted or have changed provider, not have any grief with it. And Yeah, I'll see you as a reminder. See you at 6:30 a.m. tomorrow morning on the Plasterers podcast on Trout Talk. Enjoy that. That'll be good. Yeah, I'll see you also on the Trout Talk Facebook group, on the Ask the Plasterer community. Where else will I see you? See you in any other random live streams that might pop up. Look out for Joe's live stream, because Joe's starting to do live streams now as well. Joel Cook from Rendivate up there in Leeds. God bless you, Joel. I'll see you in the morning, mate, because you'll be there. And anyone else that's watching this that'll be there tomorrow, I'll see you in the morning, guys. Let's have a good one. Can't wait. Thanks for coming along, watching Arthur Plasterer. And yeah, I'll see you soon.